I just want to check how you are feeling today. If you can tell us in chat, how are you feeling today as we begin? Just go to the chat and make a choice on what you can see on your screen. Tell us how you are feeling today. How are you feeling today? Quickly, just tell us in the chat, how are you feeling today? Thank you very much, Oliver. Thank you very much. How are you feeling today? Thank you very much, Luilo. Thank you very much, Olivia. Thank you very much. Dereje, thank you. Belinda, thank you. Kafayat, thank you very much. Nathan, thank you. So now I'll welcome Marianne to welcome us to this session. Marianne, over to you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Mina. Hello, everybody. Welcome, welcome, welcome back. I hope that you can hear me loudly and clearly. And I want to again say, if you don't know me yet, my name's Mary Ann, and I'm one of the facilitators for this online community of practice. We are always accepting new membership and new voices, new expertise. So if you are finding this space useful, please let us know, and please also invite your colleagues. I want to just begin again by thanking Dr. Mina Gyako. He is our course instructor. So I'm very grateful to him and grateful for all of you for coming week after week to learn with us, to share with us. And we understand that nobody, whether we come from UNESCO, whether we come from schools, whether we come from colleges, none of us has all the information. We always are always learning from each other, learning and creating knowledge together. So this space is reflective of that. We have people from all over who are joining, people from all over the continent, even all over the world, and from all different kinds of organizations joining us here. And I think that you all are essential to keeping this space open and keeping it thriving. So I want to also welcome you to engage with the assignments in this course, but remember that it's not mandatory. You don't have to do the long-term assignment. You don't have to do the everything to join. If you are not finding that you have time to do everything, all the tasks, that's okay too. It's self-paced. Take it as you can. We would encourage you to attempt the tasks and the assignments so that you can get a certificate later. But if you're finding it at any point to be maybe a little bit hard to stay involved in the same way because of exams that are happening in your school or some other commitment in your organization or your ministry, you can always still join, even if it's for half of the time. And even if you haven't done all of the work, you're always welcome to this space. It's a community of practice, and it's built on you, the community's engagement. Now, before I turn it back over to Dr. Mina, I want to just thank our partners who are contributing to this space. This community of practice is led by UNESCO ICPA, and it's in partnership with the European Union's Regional Teachers Initiative for Africa and the Global Partnership for Education's Knowledge and Innovation Exchange Hub. It's a hub of 19 countries in, I hate to say, but Anglophone Africa. And we don't use the term Anglophone very often. But it's countries that have English as one of their national languages. And so there are 19 countries in Eastern, Western, and Southern Africa that are part of this global partnership project that I'm involved in too. And we also have support from the Shanghai Funds and Trust and the Africa Federation of Teaching Regulatory Authorities and the African Union. So there are quite a few partners that are involved in this. And I'm working with UNESCO ICPA. Dr. Mina, I think that's all. I wanted to just quickly greet people. So back over to you. Oh, and one more thing. I want to tell everybody that the session will go until 5:30 today. If you're doing an assignment, we would encourage you to stay back and stay until 5:30, up till 5:30, because we're going to have the session open from 5 to 5:30 for anybody that has questions about their assignment. So it's an open study hall, if you will, and I'll be there to help you with any questions about your assignment. So Dr. Mina, back over to you. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Marianne, for the welcoming message, and everybody, thank you for the work you have been doing. This is a great time. Today, we are going to recap on what we have done in the last 2 weeks, and then we are going to have an explorative journey where we'll be looking at what we have been doing, the issues of the challenges we have in the context, and then we'll have discussions, a breakaway group, whereby we'll be looking at strategy. Then we'll have a teacher to come and share with us, one of the award-winning teacher from African Union. And then we are going to have a presentation from a specialist in terms of how EdTech plays to bridge the gaps that we have before we reflect in this session. So it's an exciting session, and this is a place where we come together. It's a shared space where we come to co-create knowledge, and we share openly the idea we have. So I'm requesting every time the chat boxes for us to write. When you are not speaking, be on mute, and when you're contributing, be as brief as possible. So ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for your input. You have been showing that from the assignment that we gave, that you have come out to see one recurring gap, which we found in quality assurance. It's not the absence of policy or frameworks, but it is its implementation. We saw from your responses that many institutions have standards set by the National Council, but they often remain mere expectation rather than internalized daily practices. So the key message we got from your contribution is real transformation happens when quality assurance shifts from external audit to internal ownership, what we call quality culture. And that is where the self-diagnostic tool we covered last 2 weeks becomes powerful. So we saw that self-diagnostic tools helps institutions and individually to regularly check their performance against a set of standards. They move quality assurance from once-a-year inspection to every day. So there are examples which were given from the team. You talked of lecturers might find meaningful reflection on whether lesson starts on time or whether students' feedback is integrated. And like to appreciate the voices of the following: Garang, who emphasized the need for internal system that is functional and intentional. The voice of Msibi, who reminded us that political will and leadership engagement are necessary for real reform. Kafayat and Wanu, who both pointed to inconsistent monitoring of teacher performance and the absence of regular professional development. So self-diagnostic tools address this gap, and it promotes self-assessment, peer feedback, and reflective. So as I close, the most urgent institutional priority from all of you is to build internal systems that make quality everyone's responsibility, not just the regulators. So when educators and institutions own the process, quality becomes culture and not compliance. Thank you very much for such a nice discussion. And in assessment, many people did the checking understanding, which is optional. And we had those people who completed 29. Thank you very much. I'd like to appreciate Oyugoga, Sihile Dabani, and Hileni Shifotoka. This is an activity which you can repeat as many times as possible. It's a way of checking understanding. So for us to begin, I want us to just catch up with our colleagues. And what we are going to do will be in small breakout rooms. And what we need to do is when you go to the breakout room, just share from the activity you did, from the self-diagnosis you saw, from the standard, from the evidence-based practice, one practical adaptation which you picked from Ugandan's reform journey. So share with your colleague in the room. And when you are sharing, you can ask clarifying questions, and you can add a complementary. We only have 6 minutes for this activity, and we are going to have breakout rooms where you will only be a few in the room. And when you go to a room, please unmute, start speaking, and engage with your colleague, because this is a place whereby we want to share with our colleagues and learn what happens and how did it go. So I'm opening the rooms now for only 6 minutes, and then we are going to come back here. So when you go to your room, please open your mic and start sharing with your colleagues about the learning experience. share with your colleagues about the learning experience. So you are in a room now and unmute. Once you have gone to the room, please unmute and then start speaking with your colleagues about the insights you got from the takeaway tasks that you are doing. Make sure when you're in the room, you unmute and then start sharing your experiences from the assignment. discussing with your colleagues about the experiences that you got from your assignment. So what I want you to do is, as you can see on the screen, I want you to post one powerful idea you had from your colleagues. So if you look at what you on the screen, you can click on that particular link. There's a link I've shared in the chat. Just click on that link, enter that code which is showing there, and then write for us something which you heard from your colleague, an idea, a thought, a strategy that you heard from your colleague. The link is in the chat, Dr. Sampefo. If you look at the chat, there is a link there. Can you see the link in the chat?
Yes, now I have seen it. Thank you.
Please click on that link and then share so that we can all see the ideas which you have taken. And I'd like somebody, if you want to share, you can raise up your hand. I choose 1 or 2 people to speak, while others, I want everybody to participate. So while others are typing, we can have others sharing verbally. So the code is there on the screen, DUCON. The code is there, 4264391. It is there on the screen. Meanwhile, I'm looking for anybody else who would like to speak while people are typing. Just raise up your hand. I'm looking for hands for those who like to speak, while I'm requesting everybody to contribute. Thank you very much. I've got one already. Thank you. Please elaborate. Don't just write inclusive education. Give it some meat so that we hear what you wrote. But I'm also looking for hands so that I pick 1 or 2 people to speak as people are sharing. We'll be using that link a lot, so make sure you have accessed it, because throughout we'll be using that link. Yes, Jane Sebuyungo, can you speak? Unmute and speak.
Thank you very much. We were in the breakout room and a colleague, is it said from Liberia, said that it's the quality of a teacher is very significant in empowering the quality of the education. And even then, it impacts on the quality of learning. Therefore, supporting the teacher to improve through pre-service teacher education mechanisms, policies, quality assurance will drive this improvement or reforms that we want to see. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Jane. Thank you for that. And you can also write it in the activity so that we get that point. That is very elaborate. I'm looking for another person who can speak. Yes, Semfo, Dr. Semfo. Sempefo, please. Unmute and speak.
For me, there is something you see at the descriptors and levels. It is so surprising to see that Ugandan teacher training is not in harmony with the rest of East African countries. Now the question is, beside all the good things that we see in the framework, which is very good, but they might have a challenge in mobility, because we rather see my children from Tanzania, they will go to study in Uganda. And somebody who is working here in Tanzania could go to do his master's or his bachelor's degree in Uganda. While you can see the levels, they're not in harmony. So for me, I see the challenges of, Ugandan guys to rethink of their framework and see that it is harmonized with the rest of the region. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Sempefo, for that observation. And I can see only 3 people. We have 42 here. I'm expecting to have 42 responses. Can I have more, please? Now I have 4. Can I have more? The code, the link is shared there, and I want to have more responses so that everybody participates. So we only have 4 here and 2 have spoken, that's 6, but we have 42 here. So I'm expecting 38 again to share. 1 more minute, can I have more? Click on the link in the chat, enter the number 4264391, and then share. Yes, more is coming. Thank you very much. We have 6 now, 7. Excellent. Can we have more? Can we have more? We are 42 here, so I'm expecting 47, 42 or 48 responses. I only have 7 and 2, that's 9. So I'm missing 20 something. Thank you very much. I can see 2 participants are still typing. Can I get 20 more typing so that we move on? Thank you very much for reflecting on the journey you had regarding the sessions we had last week. And it was very important when I read your work. What emerges is the richness of connecting across contexts. And we find that Uganda's journey inspires us, and your reflections show how reforms can be adapted to local realities. As we move forward, let's keep on documenting, sharing insights with colleagues, and we need to continue posting on our platform so we can continue learning from each other and as we move on. So I want to request us to think about those challenges which are posed there. Out of those challenges, according to you, which one do you think is the biggest challenge? You are using the same link in the chat, same link, and then you enter the number, and then you tell us. Same link that you had in the chat. So if you are still in that app, it should not have changed. Thank you very much. We have 1 response. We have 38 to go. Thank you. We have 2, so 36 to go. Let's see. According to you, according to your environment, which one do you think is the biggest challenge? Let's get more. Those are 3 responses. Okay, that's good. Thank you. Those are 8 responses. We still have 32 people who have not voted. Continue. Let's continue. 11 people. So we still have 27 people who are missing. The link is in the chat, and the code is 4264391, 4264391. And you can see so far the kind of distribution we have in terms of the score. What do you think is the biggest challenge for new teachers? Okay. Let's have 1 more minute. We still have 16 people. So I'm waiting for 23 people. They have not voted. Let's all vote. This is our chance to express ourselves. Half a minute. Okay, the code is on the screen, 4264391. 4264391. That's the code. Okay, still getting more people. Thank you very much. Can I get 5 more so that I reach the 66% threshold? Can I get some more? So ladies and gentlemen, you can see from our cohort here, from the people who are attending today, this is what is coming out as the biggest challenge for new teachers in the schools. And we have class size being the first one. Then we have digital skills. Then we have urban versus rural, then language. And enrollment is not a challenge, but the other, they really have a fair share of the percentages as a challenge, which is quite interesting as the data is coming. We are almost reaching there in terms of, people are still asking for the code. The code is 4264. Let me type it, 4264391. Thank you very much. So you can see from, but 19 people have not voted. but we are past the 50 plus 1%, which is very important. So we are going to move on for the next 10 minutes. I will be giving you now, I'm going to drill deeper. I will be giving you more statistics on a particular challenge, and I'll expect you to tell me if it is happening in your context or not. We are using the same platform, the same way of voting. I can see some people like Bongiwe Lungile Mbata, Oliver Francisco Michel, and yes, Kafayat. Kafayat, how do you join? You click the link in the chat. There's a link in the chat, you just click it, and then you'll just go there directly. Let me just post it again, Kafayat, so that you can get it. So this is the situation we have. We have 24, which is a very good number. So we are going to proceed, and I'll give you the first. We're going to do a short session of 10 situations, and I want all of you to vote according to your situation. So that is the first one. Urban versus rural. Statistics says that in Sub-Saharan Africa, over 70% of rural schools lack electricity compared to few in urban. Does this resonate with your context? Choose an answer there. 4 people have done. Can we have more? I don't want to show you the answer so that doesn't influence others. Tell us, 6 people have voted. I will show you the reason after we reach 50 plus 1. We are 40. So 6 people have voted. Let's continue. 8 have voted. 9, that's great. Let's proceed. Okay, 11, we are almost there. I want 50 plus 1. Bongiwe, please click the link in the chat. Bongiwe Lungile Mbata. Click the link in the chat so that you can participate and engage like the others. 16 are there. Let's go 50 plus 1, 50 plus 1. We have 3 more to go to 50 plus 1. Okay. Yes, 2 more to go, 2 more to go. We have 1 more to go. And others are still typing, 15 of them, that is great. Let's make that choice. Okay, 1 more, 1 more. We have 50 plus 1, we are now at 50%. Zweli Dala, use the link in the chat. Zweli Dala, use the link in the chat. Just click, go to chat, click the link, the one in blue. Yes, now we are 50% plus 1. And ladies and gentlemen, these are how it is distributed based on our cohort here. This is how it is distributed. So you can see for most of us, 2/3, this happens in our context. We have around 10% where they don't have these issues. Great. Let's go to the next one. Let's go to the next one. So that is the situation we have. The next one is language diversity. Africa has over 2,000 languages, which learners are often taught in a 2nd or 3rd language. Does it resonate in your context? Make a choice, make a choice. 23 people have chosen very fast. Now we are moving very fast, which is okay. Does it resonate in your context? We have over 2,000 languages. And most of our learners, they either have the 2nd or the 3rd. So does it resonate in your context? Let's put that score in. The score is coming. We want 50 plus 1. We are now at 12, almost there. We are 43 in the room, so let's all vote. If you're having a problem, just look at the chat, click on the blue link, and then enter the code 4264391, and then you can be able to vote. We are almost there, 50 plus 1. It's almost there now. 50 plus 1. Yes, 1 more person. And ladies and gentlemen, this is our situation about language. Almost 53% have these issues across the region. Thank you very much. We can now proceed to the next one about large classrooms. we are told that large classrooms, secondary classroom in Africa often exceed 80 to 100 learners per teacher. Does this resonate with your context? Let's score that. Does it resonate with your context? Matthias and Tinda, the code is 4264391. 4264391. 15 people have voted so far. I'm waiting for 50 plus 1 so that we can see. In our secondary schools, do we have 80 plus learners per class? Wow, already 50 plus 1. There we are. So let us see what we say. 60% of our participants in the room, they say yes, that is the situation. Great. Now let us look at the next one. The next one is about enrollment and completion. They say in Sub-Saharan Africa, only 61% of girls complete lower secondary compared to 71%. Does this resonate with your context? Does this resonate with your context? Mariam Sheyepo, please use the link. Click on the link so that we can have consolidated results. There is a link in the chat. It is in blue. Click on it, and then you can be able to share how your context looks like vis-a-vis the question that we have. In Sub-Saharan Africa, only 61% of girls complete lower secondary compared to 71%. Okay, there we are, 50 plus 1. We already have 23. I don't know what's happening with the other 20. I want Mary Sheapo. You are clicking on the link in the chat, not on the screen. There is a link in the chat which I'm sharing. Click on the link in the chat. Go to chat, click the link, then you can be able to vote. So this is the situation again, 54%. 54%. Only 17% don't have that issue in their community. Let's go to the fifth one, conflict and refugee setting. And this says that in Africa, we host 43% of the world displaced people, 43%. Many refugee children face disrupted schooling. Does this resonate with your context? Does this resonate with your context? Mirijam Sheapo, just go to the chat, click on the link in the chat. Don't click on your screen what you're seeing. Click on the link in the chat, then you'll be able to vote. Already, we are almost 50 plus 1 now. Wow, now people are getting it, which is great. Does this resonate with your context? There we are. So you can see again, 54 plus 54. They say yes. But also 21 years, certain situation. So around 73, this is happening in our context. Let's move to the next one, which is the digital skill and tech use. Only 24% of African schools have internet connectivity, though mobile penetration is high. Does it happen with your context? Let's have people signing that. Yes, yes, now people are getting it. It's going very fast. We want 50 plus 1, 50 plus 1. We are 45 in the room. Can we get more? Can we score 30 and above? Yes, we are almost there. Almost there. Great, there we are. So this is the situation again, 76%. They say it happens. And then 16 to add to that, which is almost 90. It's only 12%, around 82%, which is not in the context of those who are here in this session. Great, let's go to the next one, which is early grade literacy crisis. They say by grade 3, 80% of children in Sub-Saharan Africa cannot read with understanding. 80%. Over 80%. Does this resonate with your context? Does this resonate with your context? Wow, very fast. We are 48 now. We are almost going to 50. For those who are joining now, just go to the chat. You'll see a link which is in blue, and then it will ask you for a code. The code is what is on the screen, 4264391. And we are looking at the situation presented with statistics and then relating with our context and asking ourselves, does it happen in our contexts? Thank you very much. 84%. And if you add the 15%, we almost have 100% happening in our context. 85 plus 15, that's 100, which is occurring in our context. So I hope you are getting the situations we are unpacking. And the next one is teacher shortages and workload. It says Africa needs 17 million more teachers by the next 5 years to meet the education needs. Does it resonate in your context? Does it resonate in your context? Welcome, Scholastica Lewis. Welcome. We are clicking on the link on the chat, and then we are using the number 4264391 to respond to what is coming up on the screen. I love it. The numbers have increased, which is great. That is great. Let's stretch ourselves. Yes, the link is in the chat. Anali Strauss, the link is in the chat. It's just slido.com. You can just type slido.com. It will ask you for a code. Slido, SLIDOD.com. Slido.com. Ask you for a number, enter 4264 and 391. Then you will be able to vote. Already now I have more people. Great. Yes, this is the situation. 62%. If you add 12, that comes to 74%. Only 27, slightly below a third, are not experiencing this. Otherwise, everybody. 2 more situations. The next one is gender inequities. Girls in Africa are 2.5 times more likely to drop out than urban boys. Girls in Africa are 2.5 times more likely to drop out than urban boys. So I'm comparing girls in rural and boys in urban. Does it resonate? Yes, Wanu Makame, join in, please. Don't hurry. Welcome, welcome. Just go to the chat, click on the link in the chat, type that number, and we are exploring the challenges we experience in our context. So we have been given an experience, and then we are saying, does it happen in our context? And this is what we have in this situation, 67. If you add 15, you can see that's 82, 81 there, which happened in this particular context we have. And the last one that I have for this activity is economic pressure on learners. In poor households, children often miss school to work in farm or fetch water. Does this resonate with your context? And this is the last one of this series of sessions, because before we move now to another activity. Does this happen in your context? Wow, we're getting more people. We are 50 in the room now, and 34 are active. Can we have the other 16 also active so that we are all active? Yes, that's what we have. So ladies and gentlemen, for all this situation we had, nothing was less than 50. All of them are over 50, meaning that all these situations are happening in our context. So thank you very much for having a candid situation. Thank you very much for having a candid situation on what is happening. And you can see that this is what we had from all those situations that we have. So as we move on, what we want to do now is we are going to have a group discussion. We are going to divide ourselves into groups, and each group will have a scenario. Each group will have a scenario. And because I want us to, we have 10 scenarios, but I want our groups to be large. So I will make 5 groups only so that we are many in a group, but each group should look at 2 scenarios. Meaning if you're in group 1, you look at, let me make 10 groups because I can see we are 46. So we are going to have a link. I'm sharing a link in the chat. Just click the link first so that I know we are all on the same page. I've shared the link on the chat. So when you click on that particular link, it's going to open a Google Doc file. And in that Google Doc file, which I want to show first because I want us to know what we are doing, that is what on the screen you can see, that is what is going to appear. So if you are group 1, you go to the first scenario, then you answer the question. So you come here, you type the answer to that question. I'll give you 10 minutes and each group will have 1 case scenario. If you find yourself in room 1, you go to group 1, you answer, you discuss. If you're in room 2, you go to second scenario, you discuss and answer. So I'm going to create group now. I'm just creating the breakout rooms. There'll be new rooms. You won't be having the same people, but we are going to have 10 groups. Please, when we go to the room, when you go to the rooms, please unmute, discuss, and one of you or 2 of you type the answers, because when we come back after 10 minutes, we are going to share what we are discussing. When we come back after 10 minutes, we are going to share what we are discussing. So ladies and gentlemen, when you are prompted to go to a room, please click join. When you go into a room, unmute, start discussing and populate your answer. It is 15:46 now. At 15, after 10 minutes, that is 6 minutes past 4, we are going to be back here in our room. So I'm opening the rooms. Please make sure you go to the room and start answering the questions. Make sure that when we get to our rooms, we open the link and we start discussing. We don't have to all open the link. One person can open, but you can also open all of us. But make sure we document our discussions. Let's document our discussions. I hope you got a great opportunity. Please note, the link will still be open. You can continue populating your response to that link. Thank you very much for the great discussion. I was in room 3, I was in room 4, I was in room 6. Thank you very much for that. I hope you have discussed well. So now what I want us to do is to quickly reflect on what you went through, what you heard from your colleague, and that link is still live. You can use it anytime, so don't worry. You can still continue and populate and read what other people have said. So go to the chat, click that link, the same link we have been using, and reflect on what you had in the room. Meanwhile, if I can have some few hands so that I have some few people sharing, I would like to know. So anybody who would like to share? Raise up your hand, please. If I see a hand, I'm going to call your name. Meanwhile, the rest go to slido.com, just slido.com and share. Just slido.com and just share. I'm looking for hands. I'm looking for a hand. Who's the first one to raise up their hand? Any volunteer? While the rest are typing, 2 people can speak, then we move on.
Wow.
Oh, Jane, are you ready to speak? I was in your
Yes.
room and I liked your discussion. Please continue, Jane.
Thank you very much. For us who are looking at the teacher is teaching and children are reading, but some of them are teaching using teaching at the right level. And one of the things they were asking, how do you support children using this methodology of teaching at the right level? So we said the first thing we do is to assess the learners, to find out the different levels they are at, whether they are at word level, reading at word level, sentence level, and then maybe paragraph level. Then 2, we went to grouping them so that we can be able to tailor support depending on their different levels. We group them according to their different levels or reading ability, sentence, word, or paragraph. Then 3, we give them differentiated support. Then we went to what kind of resources, local materials can we be able to use? And we said that some of the resources are flashcards. We can be able to use slates, and then we can be able to use pictures.
Yeah. Thank you very much, Jane, for that contribution. And some people are typing. Please don't be left out. Contribute, type, and share so that everybody share. Your voice counts. Your voice is very important. So we want everybody to say something. Thank you, Jane. I'm looking for another hand.
Can I be the second?
Jane. Yes, please.
Can
proceed.
Okay.
Sanga.
Thank
Yes,
you.
Please.
Yes, sure. In our group, we were doing the Alban of a clouded classroom, where in the city school, a teacher handles about 8 learners in a single class, all with varying levels of ability. Now, in responding to 2 questions on how can the teacher ensure engagement and inclusivity, we discussed about 5 points, having grouping the students, and also teachers can do the team teaching or co-teaching. That means there will be 2 or more teachers in class assisting each other because the class is that much big. And also the teacher can ensure the availability of resources so that learners can work at their own under minimal instructions. And also the issue of course, there was the issue here raised about language problem. The teacher can use both languages, code mixing and code switching maybe. And also there was the issue of the use of interactive methods. Of course, resemble the group, question number 1 with part 1 about groupings, but here teacher can use strategies like thinking pair share, so that the students can learn in small groups or in pairs, and also flip the classroom, assigning at students or pupils to do activities maybe outside the classroom or changing the mechanism to do the classwork. And also there was issue of what groupings or peer support strategies might work. There was this of mixing students with different learning abilities, and also arranging the classroom in a way that allow learners to engage, and assigning them tasks to do at home and come to present in class. And number 4 was the use of technology. However, it was challenged in some schools where we don't have internet. This cannot work. That is it for now, Gyoko.
Thank you very much, Luilo Sanga, for that. And you can see people are typing, people are sharing, which is great. Please do share before we move on. We can see people are sharing. We have Annalise Strauss, Dereje Taye, Julu Charles, Hileni, and Niguse. They have been sharing about what they have picked up. Sempeho, Dr. Sempeho, please. The mic is yours. Say something.
Yeah, thank you. I'm so surprised with most of the countries, which is opposite to the case of Tanzania, where right now we talk of more boys dropping out. No longer about girls. Girls are dropping out, but in terms of rating, the boys are dropping out more. The only thing that affects girls here is the transitioning. So at the point of transition is where now boys pick up. But in terms of dropping out, boys are picking out more rapidly. I think because probably is my thinking, it's not any study. Maybe they don't see the relevance of education since many graduates are out there without any employment. Probably. Yeah.
Thank you very much, Dr. Sempeho, and I like that observation. The context is very important. We have a varied content, and there are emerging trends which are shifting from the bigger clusters, whereby, as you have observed, maybe the influence of no motivation, more graduates out, or opportunity for small businesses, which are going to make economical gains. Yes, that is something which is important that we need to track and to move on. So thank you very much for that, and people are sharing. We expected to have an award teacher to share, but we are having some technical challenge on that. So what we are going to do now, ladies and gentlemen, today we have a guest speaker. And the guest speaker comes from where we were last week, that is Uganda. And I want to thank all of you for sharing all this information. We'll share with you what everybody has said, but I want us to take this opportunity to welcome our guest speaker, who is going to explain how technology is being used to address some of the challenges which we have identified. Ladies and gentlemen, let's put our hands together and welcome Mr. Bart Konile from Enable D4D Innovation Expert. Welcome, Mr. Bart Konile.
Hello, thank you very much. You can hear me?
We can hear you clearly, sir.
A lot of people are clapping. Thank you. I'm very honored and humbled to be here. Can you upload my PowerPoint?
Can you see it from your side?
No.
Okay, from my side it is there.
Oei.
I can see what's cooking in the innovation kitchen.
I'm not seeing it.
We're not seeing it too.
Okay, let me know when you see it. Just a moment.
It is only your picture we are seeing still on the screen, sir, not the slide.
Sure.
Now it's coming. Yes.
Now it's here. What's cooking in the innovation kitchen?
Thank you. Over
All
to
right.
you, Mr. Bartkonen.
Thank you. So indeed, my name is Bart Cornille. I work for Enable, is the Belgian development agency. I've been working since 2002, actually, in development cooperation. I'm from Belgium, and I worked in Tanzania, Kenya, Vietnam, Zambia, and now for the last 6 years in Uganda. all this was, let's say, ICT integration and education was the main focus of, is the main focus of my work. And I think that's why I was invited here today. I made a kind of visual presentation so I can share some of our experiences in Uganda. We have a big portfolio in Uganda. We work in secondary schools, lower secondary schools. We work in vocational training and in health and in social protection. And what we call D4D, Digital for Development and Innovation, is a transversal team in our portfolio. So we are trying to integrate innovation, which is not necessarily always digital, and digital solutions into our portfolio. So as a team, what we do is we have an offer, like a menu, that the portfolio can pick from to integrate it in their respective projects. So that is the slide here. We presented it like a menu, what's cooking in the innovation kitchen is like a service offer, and then they can pick from that to see whether in this context it is relevant, whether it is health or education, whether it is urban or in rural areas. They can choose different solutions or services that we have. Next slide. We are part of the RTIA project, the Scaling Up in Education project, which is being established in Uganda, in Rwanda, and in Tanzania. So these are very different countries and very different contexts. We have to adapt accordingly. Yeah. So, but I'm going to tell you the story from the Ugandan perspective. In more urban areas, we set up in lower secondary schools digital innovation hubs. Yeah. So, for example, in Uganda, we set up one in Jinja and one in Adjumani, which are more urban areas. And the school has a space now. It has been established in July and August. They have a space now within the school that we have equipped with, 25 computers, desktops, projectors, a smart TV, and internet connection. And in those hubs, people can come and learn about obviously digital skills, but it's more than that. It's not an ICT computer room or a lab. It is more also for events like hackathons or design thinking workshops. So actually, as we speak in Uganda today, we are celebrating the Independence Day. And in Jinja, they are organizing, as we speak, a hackathon for the students. So it's not necessarily only for digital skills, but it's also for problem solving or critical thinking, or actually even establishing a business or incubating a business. Maybe next slide. That's why in these hubs, and for these teachers, we have learned them the concept of design thinking or human-centered design. You probably all know that very well. So we take them through the 5 steps of design thinking, and they then, for example, identify a problem, a challenge, and then they define the problem and try to come up with ideas to solve that problem. And then they built a prototype and they tested. Now, for example, we did a hackathon in the hub in Jinja, and we were prepared. I had everything there with paper and carton and so on to build a prototype of a specific solution. But we were pleasantly surprised that actually the students, which something I didn't know, they at their own time and pace in the school, they learned how to code, and they actually came up with digital prototypes of a specific solution. So in that hackathon, they identified, for example, a problem. We have a new curriculum in the schools in Uganda, and it is causing a lot of anxiety and stress for teachers, but also for students to adapt to the new curriculum. So one of the teams came up with a digital platform, a prototype of a digital platform where they help assist teachers to connect them with coaches to really lower the stress of implementing the new curriculum. It's like a mentorship platform or a coaching platform. So these are the kinds of activities that can take place in a hub. So it's broader than a computer lab, offering the possibility of doing research or acquiring digital skills. It's also about trying to solve problems on their own. So this is currently happening in our projects. And we actually, as Enable, as an organization, we are promoting the use of design thinking also internally in our portfolio. So instead of always hiring consultants, if you work with your stakeholders, if you work with our own staff, actually, we can actually come and ideate a solution to a specific problem, whether it is in education or vocational training or in health. So this is something that is working very well here in Uganda. Next slide. So I was saying that we established the digital hubs more in rural areas, like in cities like Jinja and Adjumani. But we are very much aware that the surrounding schools in rural areas, they often don't have internet, like you just mentioned in your community of practice, or they don't have electricity. So we sat down with those schools, with those teachers, and we are following the digital principles, like you can see on the slide. A design with the user, for example, is principle number 1. So we try to understand what their real needs are. And so instead of establishing a hub, we set up mobile toolkits for those schools in rural areas. And for example, we are now rolling out smart projectors that are solar charged. And the first, let's say, experiences are very good there. So these smart projectors can be taken into the classroom, and the learning materials are on the projector. So no need for a laptop or a tablet. So it's all compact, let's say, in that smart projector. So in these settings, we find that these mobile toolkits, of course, with a Wi-Fi and an internet connection, is working really well. In schools that actually have electricity or more or less stable electricity, we are just using a regular projector and some tablets. So students and teachers can use these mobile toolkits to let's say, use ICT or integrate ICT properly in the classroom. So we have the two ways, let's say. We have a hub where you come to that physical space and you learn about digital skills and more. But we use these mobile toolkits to go to the classrooms and try to learn with the use of ICT, whether or not they have electricity or not. We found solutions for each of these specific contexts. Yes, next slide. We also have actually since COVID set up full-fledged e-learning courses. We have our own learning management system, which is Moodle. At the moment, we have like 20 courses on there. And why are we so much focusing on e-learning is because during COVID, we learned that it really works in the setting of Uganda. When COVID struck, we had established e-learning courses, and like more than 10,000 students went through those courses online successfully. So we know that it really works. So now in the new portfolio, we continue to establish new e-learning courses. For example, this one that you see here is about digital rights for girls and women. So it's a very visual, interactive e-learning course, and people can go through it at their own time and pace. But what works really well for us is that we do it hybrid. So we assemble, for example, teachers for 2 days in a hub, and then they go through those courses because they have access to data and they have access to equipment, ICT equipment. And then they go through it in 1 day or 2 days, and then they get that certificate. Certificates are very important in Uganda. They really love that. So it's like a competition to go through the e-learning course in a minimum of time. So this works really well if you have like these courses and you put it in a hybrid mode. People can go through it at their own time and pace. Next slide. What we learned, of course, in more rural areas where internet access is a problem, and access to devices can be a problem, we also focus on micro-learning. We set up a chatbot via WhatsApp, and then we established some learning content, some snippets of learning or nuggets, however you call it, that people can learn via WhatsApp, and they can choose whether they want to continue or not. They want to do a quiz. They want to watch a video, so they can go through these learning paths via WhatsApp. And this is also very promising, actually. People are really eager to engage in these learnings, micro-learnings, via their mobile phone. And we stimulate that via specific topics, like what you can see on gender, on digital pedagogies. And in November, we have the 16 days of activism in Uganda, which is focusing on online GBV. So we are going to focus on that via micro-learning. We have a database of more than 10,000 people. So they can have like snippets of learning or raising awareness on a specific topic, in this case, digital rights. So we both focus on e-learning and micro-learning. Yes. How do we motivate people to participate in these e-learning courses, these micro-learning courses, going to the hubs or learning to integrate ICT and education via these mobile toolkits? We have communities of practice. And also, again, we learned that during COVID, this works really well. We set up in 2020, 2022, a sandbox to experiment with communities of practice. And people, we provided them with data, and then they could participate and learn how you can use, I'm just saying, WhatsApp for teaching and learning, or Google Classroom, or Zoom, or Canva, or how to create a podcast and things like that. So this works really well. In the new portfolio, we have broadened our communities of practice to really focus on broader topics, not only on ICT. So challenges in languages and STEM and humanities. We are trying to organize COPs that can really be helpful for teachers next to the ICT integration in education. Thus, this is also something that for us works really well. Yes, we actually have distributed more than 50 sets of virtual reality, and we developed modules for education, but also in health and also in tourism, for example. And this is, of course, I realize that this is very advanced, but this is something that really motivates people to understand the necessity to adopt digital skills and motivate them, because this immersive experience of virtual reality is really something that is motivating teachers, whether it is in teacher training or vocational training, to really understand the need that they have to learn digital skills. And this is what we are currently also doing. Yes. And the latest one, actually last weekend, I was in Cairo. We are conducting workshops on the opportunities that AI is giving in education. And this is really something that we strongly believe in, that it can leapfrog teachers in having more quality lesson plans or evaluations, but also being much more efficient. So these workshops are not like a cut and paste from ChatGPT, but also applying critical thinking and creativity into upgrading the lesson plans, for example, and use artificial intelligence intelligently. So these are the, let's say, the different things that we are currently doing as Enable in Uganda. And all this stems from, we have an innovation circle. So it's, as many organizations, we are often very, top down or very hierarchical, but we have an innovation circle that applies the concept of holacracy, where we are all at the same level, and we are trying to come up with innovations, not necessarily digital, but also frugal innovations. So we can create, with the current budget cuts in our sector, we can try to come up as a group as a circle with innovations that not necessarily cost money, but that we can use the budget that we have more efficiently. So I think this is the basis of all the innovations that we are actually doing. The circle is very important. Thank you. I hope.
Thank you very much,
have-
Bart
yes.
Cornile. Thank you very much for the great work you're doing in Uganda. We'll take some few questions. Please, if you have a question, you can post your question. We can answer 2 or 3 questions before we move on. We have very few minutes because of time. Anybody with a question? But thank you very much for your presentation. I think I have one question in terms of you have very advanced intervention. How do you consider the context and the community in terms of attitude towards technology as you are bringing the solution?
Yeah, it's very nice that you say this. I think you know very well, you have like early adopters, that people, some teachers are really jumping onto that solution. But also don't forget that students these days are very vocal. They are very enthusiastic about learning these new technologies. And I think that is stimulating other people to really jump on the bandwagon of integrating ICT and teaching and learning. And especially like with AI, it is making the life of a teacher more, effective. It is time, it's saving time. People are really eager, and they are already using it at their own, expense. But also for teaching and learning, people are very eager to jump on that. So there is still a technophobia, if that is what you call it. But I think the early adopters can convince, together with the leadership in the schools, can convince other people to also start learning these ICT literacy or AI literacy. So it's a process. At first, at the first sight, not all teachers are jumping on that, but I think the youth in Uganda are pushing the teachers also to go for that.
Thank you very much for that. There's a question here. What education issues does the implementation of your technology innovation hub project aim to solve in rural Uganda? What is it that your intervention is addressing?
What is it that the setup of a digital hub is addressing? Yeah. So you see, in Uganda, in some schools, they have indeed a computer lab, which is just basic literacy, words, learning words, Excel. But by a digital hub, I think there's so much more that you can do with a computer that is connected to the internet. There's so much more that you can do. So that's why I mentioned design thinking. They can actually start solving problems within the campus or within the school or even within the community using digital technologies and especially AI. So this is why this hub is like a problem-solving hub that can really generate enthusiasm. Like I said, as we speak in Jinja today, they have a hackathon with the students, and I just saw pictures, and the students come up with very nice solutions of local problems within the school. So this is why I think this hub has a lot of potential.
Thank you very much for that. We have another question from Dereje. He says, how do we manage the language issues? I assume that there is always local language students and teachers use, but the technology is usually in English. So how do you manage that?
Yeah, I saw that in your emails. Honestly, in Uganda, the language of teaching and learning is English. So I guess that is not so much of a problem, maybe compared to, for example, Tanzania. So we are in local lower secondary schools where they are being taught in English. So we are not in primary education, where I think this is another story. But I think in Uganda, I have not heard that this is a serious problem. Of course, in AI, for example, I am learning that there's a startup trying to set up AI chatbots in local languages, in 2 local languages, for people that are, let's say, not literate in English. So there's also opportunities there, but from what I know in the schools where we work, it's not really necessarily a problem.
Thank you very much for that. There's another question here from Belinda Nyamboki. How do you integrate indigenous knowledge in the project in rural Uganda?
Can you repeat? How do you what?
How do you integrate indigenous knowledge in the projects in rural Uganda?
Maybe I'm not in the right, as a Mzungu, as a white man from Belgium. I'm not in the right place to answer that question, but I think indigenous knowledge is part and parcel of the curriculum and the culture in Uganda. So whatever we teach and learn, they are really interpreting this within their own culture. And so this is, of course, only enriching an enriching experience. So for me, as a Belgian white man, I'm always surprised by these things. And but this is not the focus of our project, but you know, they do it automatically, let's say.
Thank you very much. I think we have only 2 more questions and we are running out of time. Can you tell us about the sustainability plan? What sustainability plan is there to ensure that teachers and students continue using the technology in education?
Actually, very good question. We have a consultant coming next week to set up a sustainability plan for these hubs and for the schools to come up with ideas of creating income generating activities that can help them to maintain the hub or replace equipment when needed. So we are addressing that also. I already had a preliminary co-creation workshop with the teachers, and they have very good ideas on how they can make this hub generate some income for the school. So this can be through membership, for example. In Jinja, people now pay 10,000 shilling to be a member of the hub. But you can also hire the hub for events. You can give workshops on digital skills during the holidays, for example, or in the weekends, and so on and so forth. So we are addressing that, which is actually very, very important, because we really want the school to sustain the facility that they have.
Thank you very much. We have one final question before we move. I know we are running out of time. How does the Education Ministry of Authorities provide coordination in the project for policy alignment?
Yeah, that's a long question. So in Uganda, we have the digital transformation roadmap, and also ICT and digital agenda and education policies. And you know, Uganda is probably the number 1 in Africa in terms of policies, but the implementation often is a big question. So what we do with Enable, we are completely aligning this with the efforts of the government. Actually, for example, ICT is now part and parcel of the curriculum, but there are many schools that don't have ICT equipment. So, so there's a big gap between that. But as Enable, we are trying to come up with solutions. And for example, for the hubs, as part of the sustainability, we if it works well in the schools, we want to convince the government to really establish hubs that surrounding schools, you know, can benefit from this kind of a setup. So we are in talks with government, the Ministry of Education and Sports, to really adopt this. So we will see. We are trying to align, but of course, there's still a lot of work ahead of us.
Thank you very much. Because of time, there are some questions on the link. Maybe you can answer them from there. But I'd like to thank you. We have somebody who wants your email, the president of the Principal Association of Liberia. He is concerned about ICT integration. So you can reach out by sharing your email in the chat. So ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much. Can we give a round of applause for our presenter for very great insights of the intervention that are happening in Uganda. So thank you very much for all that. We are now going to move on to the next step, which is Marianne. You can come in and share a bit about the assignments tasks. Thank you very much. So the email has been shared in the chat. So thank you very much, Bart. Marianne?
Thank you, Mina, and thank you so much, Bart, for that really interesting, innovative presentation about what you're working on. I think the participants' questions were also interesting too. Colleagues, I just want to give a few points here about the assignments in this course. We realize that there's been a lot of information, and I want to preface this by saying that it's not required to do an assignment, but we would like you to consider doing one if you would like to get credit for this course, for all of your time spent on WhatsApp, in Google Classroom, and then with us at these sessions every other Thursday. So if you'd like to get course credit, you'll need to do an assignment. And these assignment options are given here on the screen. They're all designed to be practical for you, not theoretical, and ones that you could use even in your own organizations. For example, if you work in a Ministry of Education, you might be interested in doing option number 2, where you get to do an informal review and scoring of your teacher education system using a framework that UNESCO is developing. If you're interested, for example, in doing option 3, if you're interested in research, or if you work maybe in a school setting or in a TTI or teacher college, that might be interesting for you to get feedback from your student teachers or from your other teachers who have a similar position to you. It's really up to you, because each of these 4 are different. They provide you a different opportunity to learn. This is both formative assessment and summative assessment, and even authentic assessment, where you're doing a real life authentic activity. It's formative, so it's going to be part of your learning journey, and you'll learn through this assignment. It's also summative, so you're going to be demonstrating what you've learned up until from August 31st until November, demonstrating that in a final capstone assignment. So it's really all of those. Maybe even it could even be a diagnostic assessment, because we will learn from your, and you yourself will learn from your own assessment, your own assignment, about what you need to know more about. And that will help us, your responses will help us to design the next few months of this course. So it's really, I think, useful to us and to you if you do the assignment, but I do want to stress that it's not required for everybody. If you're just here to listen in and kind of explore a bit, that's okay. But if you'd like to get a certificate at the end of the course in late November, early December, then please do an assignment. Some of you even want to do 2. I've heard some of you say, oh, I signed up for action plan in option 4, but now I really want to do 3. if you feel like you're in between two of them, pick the one that seems most useful to you, most interesting to you. And you can always do another one if you find the time, but we would like you to put more attention into one of these right now. And you might even find a way to join some of them together. Like, for example, option 4, that's your personal application of your learning and reflection on your learning. For that one, you could build in some points from assignment option 1, 2, or 3. For an option, for example, in option 4, I was in a room with someone about an hour ago in this meeting, and he said, I signed up for option 3, but I want to do 4. You know, you can find a way to build points from option 3 into option 4. So really, the options are up to you. Let me just do a quick check-in here. Mina, are we going to share that link for participants to sign up for one of the assignments? How are we proceeding with that link for sign up?
Thank you very much, Marianne. Only 14 people have signed up, and I can quickly flash out that. And if you're having any challenge with that, you can let us know, because it's important we know who has signed up and the kind of help that we need. At the moment, you can see, let me just quickly show you. These are the people who have signed up. 15, we have 15 responses, and these are the people who have signed up for the activity. So we'd like all of you to sign up. So you can see the status. We have individual many, 80%, and group is 20%. That is what we are expecting. So please make sure you sign up, and if you haven't got a group member, look for a group member so that we need to know what you're doing and what kind of support that we can give you. Thank you very much.
Okay, Mina, I just want to reflect on some of maybe the questions that came up. I see a question from Jala. Can you please put question 1 and 2 back, please? And someone else says, Wanu says, I failed to submit. Now I change the assignment. I will choose 1 instead of 4. Okay, so I think, I'm not really sure what exactly Mr. Jala's message refers to. Okay. Should we do a very quick, maybe I do a very quick looking into the folders of these to show very quickly what the templates look like, very quickly to show how they're different. Would that be helpful for participants?
Yeah, it should be helpful.
Okay, not spend too much time, just very quick. And I want to give a preface that option number 2, ICBUS framework, we have more information about that now. So those of you that want to do option number 2, if you want to do a light assessment, a scoring of your teacher education system, we now have more information about that. So UNESCO ICBA is creating a scorecard to assess your teacher education systems. That is going to be available today. We have information about that at 5 o'clock, 5 to 5:30 in the post meeting session that we've invited you to stay back in. We would encourage those of you who want to learn more about ICBA's framework and also to do that assignment. It's a review of your education system for teachers. Please stay back for 10, 15, 20 minutes at 5 o'clock. We're going to have Dr. Quentin Woden, he's the director of UNESCO ICBA, speaking about that framework. There were some questions about information about that. So I won't spend a lot of time on option number 2 right now, but maybe I can quickly show the folder, Mina, or maybe we show Google Classroom instead. What do you think would be useful for them to see right now?
Just show the folder first.
Okay. Okay, let me share my screen.
Yes, please.
Okay. Okay, let me know if you can see it. Okay, let me go to, so participants have access to this folder. This is in Google Drive. And this is the participants resource folder. Under the assignment templates folder here, we have the 4 options here for your assignments. So option 1, option 2, option 3, and option 4. Please do note that this is important for everybody. You can't type directly on these. These are worksheets. These are like templates for everybody to use. So you need to download a copy for yourself and then fill it out. You have to download or else go to Google Classroom. But this is like a standard template. So if you try to type on here, it's not going to save your comments. You're not going to be able to, we're not going to see your comments on here if you try to add your responses directly on this sheet. So option 1, this is a case study. You're going to basically write a paper, write an essay about what does teacher education look like right now in your country. So this is useful to maybe to those of you that are learning, exploring this idea. Maybe you're not that aware yet of what kind of policies exist, what kind of institutions exist and how they work together, what kind of programs exist. Maybe you want to do some looking into this for your own accord. So I would suggest you do this one. If you can write using these prompts here, these questions, it would be useful to you, I think. And we're going to also read and learn from your responses too. It's really just understanding your own system better. Okay, and this can be done with somebody else. Ideally, somebody from your country and somebody from this COP. But if you find somebody to work with who's from a different country, you could do that. You could do a comparison of your two systems in the same paper. So again, you can submit with 1 or 2 other people. This can be a joint assignment. So that's option number 1. And I forgot to say that we are going to read through them. And if your paper is well written, we will probably give you some feedback and then ask you to revise it so we can publish it online on our website. So you have a chance to be featured on our website. Option number 2, this one I'm not going to spend much time on right now because we're going to have Dr. Quinton Woden speaking about this one in 10 minutes with those of you that want to do an informal assessment of your education system. How does it stand up? Is it doing well? You want to sort of test out your system, your teacher education system. So let's save this one for a little bit later. Then we have, sorry, I think I clicked out of the folder. Okay, we have option 3. This one here, this has changed a little bit since last time, since we spoke last 2 weeks ago. This one's going to be research. It's your own research. And if you pick this one, you need to submit your research questions to us today or tomorrow if you have not done so yet, because we have to give you some feedback before you can actually do your research. You're interviewing people in your country. These could be teacher educators, recent teacher graduates, school leaders. It's your choice who you want to interview, and you have to create questions and send those to us by this end of this week, today, if not yesterday, by this week, so we can give you feedback before you start doing your interviews. Okay, this is a really interesting one. I think if I was you, I might be tempted to pick this one, but I like all of the options for different reasons. And then finally, option number 4, this is the last one. This is one that is a really practical one. So this is also a really good one. And again, a draft is due today or latest by tomorrow if you have not submitted it already. Some of you already have. This is going to be an application of your learning. What have you been learning? How is it useful to you? What are you going to do with your learning? Are you going to have a meeting with your supervisor? Are you going to make a workshop with your peers? Are you going to, oh, we have somebody who's commented here. So again, if you make comments on here, they will not be saved. You have to download this for yourself and then send and Dr. Mina can explain, but you have to submit through Google Classroom. You can't type directly on this template. This is just the worksheet. It's for everybody. It's not for individuals' responses. But this is a really interesting option for you if you want to have a practical application of your knowledge. You can show what you're learning. This might be good for you if you want to ever perhaps consider getting a promotion even in your department. You can take some action that would be useful to your school or department and to apply to show your learning. And this action plan and result along with your certificate could even help you out on your CV in the future if you take some action that's useful. So I think that's it, Dr. Mina. Back over to you. These are the 4 assignments. And again, Dr. Quinton Woden will be here to explain option number 2, ICPA's framework, for teacher education in about 8 minutes, and he'll stay until 5:30 to explain to participants. Back to you.
Thank you very much, Marianne, for that. And we are trying to accommodate you and to be able to sort you out whenever you have a problem. So you have seen in the template that Marianne has shared is also there. But even if you go to the final task, you have the same. So here, if you can see some people have already handed in, you can see the templates are there. And when you open a template, for example, you are doing option 1, when you click on that particular template, what happens is that this is what people are struggling with. This becomes your copy. This becomes your copy. So it's not, it becomes your copy, and then you just work on it. So you can do this, or you can download the way Marianne has shown, but we want to give you opportunity so that you are not struggling. We are here to assist you to make sure that you are successful in what you're doing. Don't worry about technology. Focus on the task, and then we can help you access the task the way we want to have it. So that is what I wanted to share. And as we continue with our session, which is, I really appreciate, we are now coming to the end of the session, but as usual, the way we do our closures, we normally do a reflection. So I like to give us some 5 minutes, check the link on the chat, reflect about your learning experience, because the kind of feedback that you give us really helps us in the iterative sessions on how we can improve. So I've shared a link in the chat. Click that particular link, and then quickly select section 6, because this was session 6, and then rate the session. How was your learning experience? What have you taken away from today's session as we are coming to the end of this session? Let's take some few minutes to click on that, because we have found that when we just leave you, some people don't do it. And it's very, very important for all of us to hear what you are saying and what you're feeling. So let's take some few minutes. We are almost done. So that link will be, once you click on it, it will open, and it will allow you to complete the response, the feedback. Thank you, Marianne, for sharing it again. Thank you. Thank you. We really appreciate your time, and we appreciate those who came. And every day as we complete our session, we normally give you a task. I've already posted the task in the Google Classroom, so I'll just share what it is about the task. But let me give you 2 more minutes so that you complete the reflection. Click the link on the chat, then respond to those quick questions about your learning experience, and then we can proceed from there. We are in session 6, so select session 6. It's about how you are feeling about today's session. What was the key learning you have taken away? How would you apply what you have got today? Then there is a satisfaction on today's contest. Are you satisfied? And then there is a place for suggestions for future sessions, which is very key for us, because we are very reflective, and we like to ensure that we are serving you better. So I've already posted the task, and this task will be different. It is not the same way where you'll be doing individually, but this task is going to be submitted in the stream, because we want to invite more people to participate. And this task is also different because you have a choice. You can either, I'm trying to mimic the way we are doing the final assessment so that we're not doing everything together. So you can either decide to do a context brief, or you can do a storytelling vignette, or you can do a digital infographic. You choose one of those, but you are reading 2 articles. One is driving literacy through linguistic diversity and mother tongue language. The other one is that is a global monitoring report. Who chooses, who loses, policy to improve teacher deployment. So based on those two, read through and then either choose one or two or three. In Google Classroom, it gives you more depth of what you're supposed to do. And we have, Marianne, is it 1 week or 2 weeks for this, for the next session?
Yes, Dr. Mina, it's actually just 1 week. Sorry, we have session next Thursday, the 16th.
Yes. So you only have 7 days. So we have given you light work for only one assignment. And then we're also going to have a checking from what presentation we had. We're going to have a quick quiz for you to do. Otherwise, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for your attending, for your participation. I want to invite Marianne to give her closing remark before we close with our song. Marianne, over to you. You are muted. You're muted, please.
Thank you, Dr. Mina. Sorry, I was jumping ahead. Dr. Mina and participants, Bart, I want to thank all of you for making this session today really interactive and interesting. I think as you have probably seen, everybody, we've become a smaller group since July 31st. And for me, that's a positive thing because it actually shows the ones of you who are most interested in learning, most committed to this idea of lifelong learning. I know that I try to consider myself a lifelong learner. And I think that if we are ever to call ourselves teachers or educators in any way, we have to also be willing to learn along the way too. So making some time for it, taking it seriously. I think you have demonstrated that by being here with us by the 6th session, when we know that you have so much else going on. We know that you're working. We know that you're busy. We know that you have multiple commitments, especially towards the end of the calendar year, and that everybody's coming from a different place, different time zone. It isn't always easy to connect if it's prayer time or if it's lunchtime or if it's later at night. You're all coming from different parts of the continent and even the world. So I really want to thank everybody for putting that effort into this and for demonstrating that you are interested in lifelong learning and you understand the value of connecting. This is sort of a different experience. It's not exactly a class. It's not exactly a webinar. It's something in between. It's a community of practice. It's a community of people. It's driven by you. And I think that we hope that you increasingly are feeling that now as you're getting the hang of things as we're working together. We have lots of possibilities for this space to open it up for some of you to speak and to present, especially as you're going to be sharing some reflections from your context through your assignments. So I want to just thank everybody for taking part in this learning experience. And I do want to thank as well our partners for this course, or for the COP. We are UNESCO ICPA, and we work very closely with the GPE, Global Partnership for Education, KICS, that's the Knowledge Innovation Exchange Project, and the Shanghai Funds and Trust, and and AFTRA, the Africa Federation of Teaching Regulatory Authorities, and the African Union. We also have partners from the European Union, the Regional Teachers Alliance for Africa, and we've seen Mr. Bart here today sharing, and he's representing our contacts at the EU. So we thank you, Bart, for coming today, and we thank you, everybody, for coming. The link will stay open now and for another 30 minutes. Please do stay online to talk more about your assignments, maybe to find a partner, to ask us a question, and also to hear more information about ICPA's developing framework for assessing teacher education. That's especially good if you're doing option number 2. Okay, thank you, Dr. Mina, back over to you.
Thank you very much, everybody, and let's have our 30 minutes of engagement.
My pocket's African. It's time to go to school. Wake up! Let's go to school. We never retire. I'll never look my back.